Good morning, everyone. My name is Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. Today, I thought I would do a bit of an update. I went to see my neurologist yesterday, and we were sort of having an overall review and seeing how my new medication was working. So I thought I'd bring everybody else up to speed with that. I go to a Dr. Sarah Furtado. She's at the Movement Disorders Clinic, and she's a very wonderful neurologist who specializes in Parkinson's. She is very knowledgeable, and so therefore I'm fortunate. There's not a whole lot. I was very nervous. I will say that. I was very, very nervous about going because I know that I started this new medication, the patch, and I'm really feeling like it's helpful. And I was very worried that for some reason or another, she would say, no, you shouldn't be doing that, and take that medication away from me. And I knew that it was what was allowing me to have my medicine work better. But I needn't have worried. That's another one of those things that I got anxious about when I really didn't have to, but I did. But anyway, so I went in and we discussed how the patch was doing and whatnot. And I said, it has made all the difference in my downtime. Like the downtime has been very good. Now, she did reiterate that there are serious side effects to this patch. So far, I haven't had too many of them. The one that I'm scared of is getting the hallucinations. But so far, that has not been a problem. I'm on a very mild dose. I'm on 1 milligram. So I'm going to try to stay at that for as long as possible. 8 milligrams is the maximum. And so I'm just going to try and have this get me as far as I can. She was also very good. It's an expensive medicine. Well, I guess expensive is relative to who you are, I guess, because some people maybe wouldn't find it expensive, but it's not covered by my health plan, and it's $150 a month. And for the 1 milligram, I don't know if that changes as that medication goes up or not, but that's what it is. And that's a lot of money for us. But you do what you have to do. So we had made a decision that we wouldn't have our cleaners anymore so that we could cover this medication. And so that's what we have been doing. Well, she, bless her heart, has spoken to the company that makes this medication. And they are working hard with another patient advocate group to get this medication covered for me so that I won't have to pay that out of pocket. That will be a big help to us. And I'm planning on doing a video later on, I don't know when, but just later on, that will tell how we're doing with having to keep up with the cleaning ourselves, because now we're having to do that ourselves, and what are we doing, and what can't we do that we have to have our kids help us with or whatnot, because I don't want to put more onto them, that's for sure. But anyway, let me just think, what else did she say? Oh, yes, she did say that there's, well, anyway, I got a phone call. First of all, I got a phone call, and it was a nurse, and she was calling for some doctor that I'd never heard of. And she said that she'd been referred by Dr. Furtado to have a consultation with me. And she said she was a geriatric doctor. And I said, a geriatric doctor? I said, I'm only 63. Well, I'm going to be 64 in a month, or 2 months. But I said, I'm only 63. And she goes, close enough. So anyway, we were talking to Dr. Furtado, and she explained to us. I said, well, what exactly kind of a doctor, other than an old people's doctor, what exactly is she going to do? Well, she explained that what this doctor is going to do. She said, she said, I'm a specialist for Parkinson's. So when we're talking just Parkinson's, it will be her and I. When we're talking the sniffles or the flu, it will be the family doctor. But she said, I'm a complicated case because I have quite a history. I mean, I've had cancer, I've had a stroke, I've They say I have diabetes. I'm not exactly fully convinced of it because I can keep my sugars under check, but they do that. I have the neuropathy in my feet and hands. It may be Parkinson related, she said now, but that's another thing. So she said, you're a complicated case. So she said, we need somebody who will oversee the entire picture so that if they get the entire picture, they're not going to miss a piece. So that's what this doctor is going to do. So I'm having a phone consultation with her for an hour on Friday, and I guess we go from there. So that was the update with that. And then she said, basically, we're going to keep on this patch, and she will see us again in 3 months. And so we'll see how I'm doing then. So anyway, that's the update from the neurologist. Now I'm going to tell a story, and then I have a surprise at the end. All right, the story today is about my grandmother. Remember I told you the story about my grandma? We went and walked in the rain. Well, okay, it's that grandma. We had lots of fun together. But anyway, one of my visits with her, she loved to play bingo. And she would go down to the seniors center, and they had one of those old bingo machines, where they roll the balls and they come out of the machine and whatnot, and they put them up on the board. It's not an electronic board. They literally have a board where they pull the number things down so that you can see that. Well, anyway, you go in and it costs you, I forget what it costs you. I think it's $1 for a ticket or something, or for one of the cardboard cards. So we went in and she got 2 cardboard cards and I got 2 cardboard cards. And then they said that if you wanted to pay an extra 50 cents, that you could buy into this jackpot, that if you got a blackout bingo in under 55 calls, you got this jackpot. And I said, well, what's the jackpot? And they said, oh, well, it has never been won. She said, the jackpot's up like $300 or $400 now. I said to Grandma, well, we should buy that. We should buy that extra little ticket thing. And she said, Darlene, nobody wins. The woman just told you nobody gets it in that few numbers. And I thought, I played bingo before. I'm sure you can win it in 55 numbers. I've seen people win in 51, 52 numbers. I said to Grandma, listen, Grandma, let me buy that ticket for you. I think we should have that ticket. So she said, okay. She says, we can always donate to the pot. That's how she thought of it. Well, we got there. Well, I know why nobody won that bingo. Because these people, they were missing their numbers every which way. Like, they weren't putting the numbers on. And then at one point in time, the man who was drawing the balls out of the machine dropped all the balls off of the thing, and they had to start over again. They said, just wipe your cards clean and we'll start all over again. And I said, what if I'd been close? But anyway, we did it. We started all over again. So anyway, we get there. Well, I wasn't missing my numbers. And I said to Grandma, we were up at about 47, 48 calls. And I said to Grandma, I only need a couple of numbers. She goes, oh, they don't come out though now. She says, we've been down low, but she says they don't come out. So I sat quietly, and there came my numbers. And so I hollered bingo, and everybody looked at me like, what do you mean you're hollering bingo? It's only like 54 calls. And I said, I have a bingo. So they came over and they checked the card, and they looked and said, yes, she has a bingo. And then I said, well, I have the ticket for that extra prize too. Oh dear. And I said, what do you mean, oh dear? She goes, well, nobody ever wins that. And I said, well, I guess I'm the lucky one, right? Grandma and I will split this up, and I guess I'm the lucky one. And she goes, well, I have to go back and talk to the treasurer. And I said, okay. So everybody was there, and they were all drinking their coffee and tea, and we were waiting for the next game to start. And the treasurer lady comes out and she lowers her voice really low so only I can hear. And she goes, can you come back tomorrow to get your prize? I said, oh, sure, that's not a problem, right? I knew this wasn't like a official bingo hall. This was the senior center. I said, oh, yes, I can come back tomorrow. And she says, you see, we don't have enough money on the premises to pay that. And I said, well, do you have enough money to pay it tomorrow, or should I just forego it, right? And she says, no, no, no. We can have the money tomorrow. We just have to get somebody else for another signature. And I said, okay, that's fine. We'll come back tomorrow. So the next day we went back in, and sure enough, there was my check. And Grandma and I went in. And I said, Grandma, we're going to have a good holiday now. I said, we got this extra money. So there was a different bingo that day up at another place. And she said, let's go up and play that bingo. And I said, okay. We walked in the door, and all these same people that were at the one before that were there. And as we were walking in the door, we could see people pointing at us going, that's that girl that won that money. I said to Grandma, I'm going to be known as that girl that won that money every time you come in here. I said, don't let them bully you. Anyway, oh, I laughed about it. Anyway, don't want to make this part too long because I have a surprise. My A-linker. My daughter and I are going out to Giant Tiger, and I'm taking my A-linker. And she's going to film a little bit of me with the A-linker in the store. I don't know how to put the two together here, but she is going to try to figure that out. She says she knows how to put on the end of this. So without further ado, I'm going to segue over, and the next time you'll see me, I'm going to be riding my A-linker in Giant Tiger. I hope. Okay. I will say see you all tomorrow, but don't go away. Stick around. See the A-linker. I don't know how to start a video when I don't say, hi, my name's Darlene and I have Parkinson's. So, hi, I'm Darlene and I have Parkinson's. And I've already talked to you today and told you that there was a wonderful surprise and that I was going to go with my A-linker to the store. Here is reality. I now am ready to go to the store and my body is not going to let me go. Well, it's going to let me go, but it's not going to let me go on the A-linker. I'm going to have a time out with my daughter, but I'm going to have to go in the wheelchair. So I promised and was hopeful that I was going to A-linker. And I won't say I have let myself down. I won't say I have let you down. I would just say it is to come another day, because I choose to be positive and I choose to say, even though I didn't get to go today, I'm still having an outing. So as soon as my body starts to move a little bit, we're going to put me in the wheelchair and we're going to head to the Giant Tiger. And maybe I'll find something that'll cheer me up by the way of shopping. Retail therapy's wonderful, I hear. Okay, see you all tomorrow.